Right, so it's about time I showed you all this hooked up and how it's working, how I got it all wired up. So, SPL Dynamics car amplifier, 2000 watts plus RMS, not going to be pushing that in the room, probably pushing about 600 watts RMS, pushing that Pioneer there. I've not got the gains up very high at all, just keeping it nice and low. Doesn't need a lot of power, that it's in a big box. Power supply is there. I've got some temporary switches hooked up here for turning on the power supply remote and also the amp remote, so I can switch them on separately. They'll be probably glued there when I get some glue. Now the Technics, this is the different bit. The Technics used to be powering the sub, but is now powering my two floor standers. That it's a bit nicer because these H require some oomph. They require some power behind them, some good old school amp power. So they sound fantastic on it. What I've got is, going into the SPL Dynamics amp, I've got the RCAs from the Yamaha sub output, obviously to get the signal. And now from the output of the SPL Dynamic, I've got that going into a second input on the Technics, which means that when it's late at night or when I don't fancy having the big booming 12 on down there, I can simply turn the sub off, switch the Technics onto CD, which is where I've got the sub input plugged into, and I can use these 8s as subwoofers. Now these boxes are transmission line and they drop down as low as 30 Hz, so they're perfect for subwoofer use if I want to, and they're also very good for low mid-range use because they're T-line. So I'm going to show you what they're capable of in subwoofer mode, and the highs, obviously everything else is done by the Yamaha up here. So let's hit this tune. This sounds fantastic. This is I'm About It on a decaf, 30 Hz and upwards, so just proving the frequency response. I'm going to sit down the sofa, a listening position, and just take a listen to the low frequency response from these 8s. Yeah! 30 Hz, man! Let's turn it up a bit. Let's bring it over here. So there you go, that's with the Technics in sub mode. To take it out of sub mode, all I've got to do is turn the bass down a bit and turn it onto auxiliary. There you go. Hear the difference? Listen. Sub mode. That's sub mode. And this is auxiliary. Big difference there. So now I've got it in normal high, low mid mode. I can go ahead and turn the power supply on for the sub. So let's turn the switch on to turn the PSU on from standby. Gets the fans going. Now that is another reason that I had the Technics on the subs as well, because I do get some fan noise. Now I'm going to invest in some quieter fans, but it's a little bit annoying at night time, but not too bad when you're bumping the bass. Now let's switch on the amp remote. Hear the amp click into place. There we go, subs on. So let's turn the volume down a bit and let's hit a much lower tune. Young Scrap, Ow Shit, 25 Hz and up. Let's go for turn it up a little bit. Take it over here. Oh yeah. That's nice deep lows. And that's all running off the SPL Dynamics on the power supply. So I don't know about you, but I'm impressed. Now, I need to give the guy who showed me this a massive fucking shout out. This guy, Jay Holly. Now, check out his YouTube channel. There's jholly123. If I go up here to here, youtube.com. Let's focus this camera a bit. youtube.com/jholly123. Now this guy, he introduced me to this PSU, this specific one. They were on eBay very, very cheaply. It's a Dell server power supply, 930 watts with only a 12 volt rail. It's got a 3.3 volt rail, but it's very small. So it's all 12 volt rail, 75 amps. And these can be run, believe it or not, in parallel with each other. So you can buy as many of these as you like, 4, 5, 8, and you can run them all in parallel using a current share pin. So you can literally have a fucking unlimited 12 volt power supply, a huge current. For me, all I need is this. I don't need any more than that. Does this amplifier perfectly fine. I'll be downgrading this amp for my room fairly soon, get something much smaller because I don't need this big ass amp here. But yeah, Jay, he's the one who came up with the idea of using this, found it on eBay, worked out how to wire all the pins together to get it to remote on and to get the fans to slow down, etc. So big props go out to my man Jay. Nice one, excellent. If you want to find them on eBay, they're pretty cheap. This one here, $13.99 on the UK. You can get them over in the US as well for similarly cheap. There's loads of these on eBay, and you can pick up like some really high power ones. This is by no means the most powerful one. There's some ridiculous ones you can get. They're a lot more expensive, but if you're going to daisy chain them together, it doesn't really matter anyway. So yeah, awesome. This is very, very nice sounding, and a big upgrade for me having the Technics on the mids. So stay tuned for some other videos, similar stuff.